Here are a few beginner-friendly leg exercises. This is the assisted squat. With this, it's compound exercise working your glutes and your hamstrings. It's safer than your traditional barbell squat, that's why this is on here. Make sure your heels are pressed into the ground and you can point your toes slightly outward. Now we have our plate-loaded leg press. Make sure your head is resting back, your shoulder blades pull back together, keep your back nice and flat. Make sure it doesn't round at the bottom. Getting your knees as close to your chest as you can, pushing through your heels and the balls of your feet. And your toes can point straight ahead or they can point slightly outward. Have your feet shoulder width apart, or you can go wider or more narrow. It's up to you and your preference. Here's how to do your knee extensions. It's an isolation exercise just on your quads. Get your legs totally straight at the top, close the stack at the bottom, toes pointing to your face, and you can always point your toes slightly outward if you want to feel it more in your inner quads. Seated leg curl. For some reason I look miserable as hell in this, ignore that. What you want to do is get your Achilles tendon on top of that pad. And the top pad, you want it on top of your quads to secure you in place. You're driving your heels in towards your hips and making sure you're not arching your back on this so that you're exclusively working your hamstrings. Here we have our lying leg curls for your hamstrings. What you'll notice is here is it's quite easy for your back to arch. You want to minimize that. You want to focus on your hamstrings doing the work, driving your heels towards your hips, and you will need a baby weight when compared to your seated leg curl. Another great way that you could do this is just one leg at a time, starting with your weaker leg and focusing on the hamstring squeezing everywhere. Now we have a standing calf raise. Now if you zoom in carefully, you will eventually be able to find my calves. Rest your balls of your feet on the platform, make sure your toes are free. Keeping your legs totally straight, you want to drive your heels down to the floor, stretch those calves out, get your heels up to the ceiling, almost as if you're on your tiptoes. Make sure you do it slow and have full range of motion. Seated calf raises. Make sure you're doing standing and seated to work all of your calves. With this, balls of your feet on the platform, toes are free, get the heels fully stretched by digging them down to the floor, then bring the heels up to the ceiling to ensure full range of motion. Make sure you're going nice and slow and squeezing and pausing at the top of every leg. This is the tibialis anterior raises. In English, it's the opposite of your calves. Nice and simple opposite movement to your calf raises. Bring your toes towards your face and work the front of your shins. Get full range of motion as usual with all exercises.